I request our President, Dr. Girish Mahendarkar, to confer an honorary fellowship to our chief guest, Dr. Y.K. Amdekar, sir. दे ना घ्या लगेच तुमच्याकडून.
I request Dr. Amdekar sir to please come up and enlighten the gathering with his speech. Please, sir.
The President, Dr. Girish Mahendarkar, Vice President, Dr. Mrs. Mahendarkar, and Venkatesh Giri, the council members of CPS, my friends and dear students. I think it is a great honor bestowed upon me, and I thank you very much for the same. I think students, you must be very happy, and I congratulate you for getting this diploma, fellowship, etc. And you may have thought this is an exit exam, because now most of you have almost finished your training career. Some of you, of course, will go for DNB, MRCP, whatnot. And maybe 2-3 years ago, you gave an entrance exam, the NEET exam. And you must have thought, many of you, now this is the end of our learning, and now we are a full-fledged doctors ready to get into serving the community. Friends, I want you to be reminded that this is also an entrance examination. And where are you going to enter? This is an entrance examination which has made you eligible to learn many more things that you have never learned so far. And what have you learned so far? You have learned how to pass examination, and for which you needed information, you needed facts. Many of you might have just learned by heart, a rote learning, reproduced the same, got good marks, and there you are. But now the real learning starts, and therefore I feel you have just now been eligible to start learning medicine. Now, what have you learned so far? As I said, only information, facts. What are you going to learn now? You are now trying to gain knowledge. You thought you had a knowledge already. That's why you are here. No, knowledge is something different. And I think knowledge is digesting, assimilating information, absorbing, then retaining. And retaining how? By repeated practice. That is knowledge. And now you are eligible to gain knowledge. And wisdom is far away. Even I have not, I think, attained much wisdom. But I must give you a simple understanding of what is information, what is knowledge, and what is wisdom. All of you must have learned that appendicitis starts with pain periumbilical, and after 24 hours goes to right iliac fossa. Does the appendix move? then why does the pen move? You understood the fact, but now you have to gain the knowledge. How does the appendix stay there only, but the pain starts peri-umbilical and then goes to there? That is knowledge. And even simpler one, I'm sure when you want to buy tomatoes, you go to a vegetable market and not a fruit market. But do you know that tomato is a fruit? Then why do you go to vegetable market to buy? Because the wisdom is, even if tomato is a fruit, the wisdom is don't put in a fruit salad. That's why the vendors know that you may make a mistake, so you go to vegetable market to buy tomatoes. You can understand how knowledge is different and wisdom is far apart. Wisdom is to decide which knowledge to whom apply and when to apply and when not to apply. Today we have a CT scan, MRI. Indications are being taught to you, but where not to use is not easy to know. That is wisdom. And I'm thinking, now you are convinced that your learning starts now and you are going to gain knowledge and if possible the wisdom. Now having said this, what is this all learning now that you are likely to go for? What have you done so far? You have done enough to pass exam and eligibility. Now you are going to learn patient care. So far you are not caring for the patient. You are seeing the care given by somebody else. And that is so different than actually patient care. Friends, remember, one day in your life, sooner than later, there would be a day when you would be alone in between the life and death of somebody. Are you ready for that? That is the aim finally. That one day you may be making a difference between life and death of a person, and you need to start learning for that day so that somebody's life is saved because of your knowledge. I'm sure you are convinced now that you have to start learning now. The question is, what is the syllabus of this learning? There is no syllabus. And what's the duration? You had a DCH, DNB, etc. You have a duration. And here the duration is lifelong. Friends, at the end of 55 years of learning, after graduation, post-graduation, I am still learning. And you must have seen many scientists. Einstein said that as I started learning and understanding more, I realized how less I understand. Friends, be humble. None of us have understood much of science, and this pandemic has exposed the ignorance of medical science. Nobody knows what is happening. Right from first day, and hydroxychloroquine, considered to be one drug that would really save us, within a week there was another article to say no, it is not. Science is so advancing fast, and science is dynamic. None of us can even understand, forget the master. Then what are you going to learn? You are going to learn what is best applicable in your field of practice. And the common things first. Don't go after the new, fancy, attractive, modern science. Even when modern science had not developed, the patients got better. And patients had a tremendous faith in the doctor. And the medical image of a doctor was so high that the doctor was considered not only for diseases and health, but for every family matter. Today, we are all suspects of doing something wrong. From where have we come? And why have we done that? Today we have all learned science. And science, as William Alster said, medicine is a science of uncertainty. That means you don't know what you are telling a patient, whether it is right or wrong. but we hope mostly it is right. And why is this uncertainty? Medicine is not a science like mathematics or physics, where 1 and 1 is 2. Why is medicine uncertain? Because we have been after disease, but we have not understood the body or a patient in whom the disease resides. We have ignored that person. We have after a disease. And what does this person consist of? You and me. 30% of us are genotypes. Our genes decide how I react to COVID. And the doctor doesn't know what my genotype is. Therefore, he waits for me to get into complication, or he waits for me to get better. Uncertainty. 30% of us have a genotype which decides how I react to a disease. Another 30% are phenotypes. The same genotype person, if you look at 10 of them, they behave differently because their character of behavior is different. That's the phenotype. And then what is remaining 40%? Well, friends, science has now proved that remaining 40% is mind. And mind decides whether you will heal or you will not heal. Imagine when you are treating a patient, you are looking at a disease, but you are not looking at the body, you are not looking at his phenotype, the genotype, and his mind. What does the science attack when the disease comes? Science only treats the body. And what body means to us? Not the genotype, phenotype, just some organs. But who treats the mind? The art of medical practice treats the mind. And as I said, mind is the one that makes you heal or not heal. If you have a strong mind, you come out of a major disease. If you have a weak mind, the best of the doctors fail, not because doctors failed, but the person failed. His mind did not support healing. When somebody gets a fracture, you put a plaster, and the patient feels, oh, my doctor did good job, I've healed. How did the plaster or a doctor heal? The nature healed. So friends, the nature with the help of a mind heals, and the art of medicine treats the mind of the patient, which means that it heals. So now you will not only be after learning science, there is no limit to learn science. What I learned 5 years ago has become obsolete now, and I need to relearn again new things. Unending. Surely you keep on doing that, but knowing its limitations, you learn the art of medicine. And art of medicine has not changed for generations. It has stood the test of time. And what is this art of medicine? The first is ethics. And what is ethics? The 4 pillars of ethics that we have been taught. And we took an oath when we passed our MBBS that you will do only good and no harm, beneficence and no maleficence. And you will see that the patients have autonomy and justice. What else is the art of medicine? Empathy, not sympathy. Sympathy is at the spinal cord level. Empathy is a cortical thought process. When one of my students who never studied, never worked, failed, and he came to meet me and said, sir, I failed. I said, sorry, but now next time you work hard. When he turned, I said, good, he failed because he deserved to fail. That is sympathy. But what is empathy? You put yourself in the mind of the parents of a child who is sick, the mind of a patient. And don't forget that when patient comes to you with some complaints, pain, fever, breathlessness, whatever, but there are many hidden symptoms in the mind of the patients. If you do not understand them, if you do not treat them, if you do not look after them, the patients don't complain of those symptoms, but the mind does not help you to heal. And what are those hidden symptoms? We all must have experienced when you or your own close relative is sick. that in the mind of that patient or the parents of a child who is sick, there are symptoms which are never reported. And which are these symptoms? A worry, anxiety, frustration, sometimes self-blame, sometimes self-pity. Why did this happen to me, God? I never did anything wrong. My mind is not at peace. You and me as doctors must realize those hidden symptoms in the mind of a sufferer. And how do you treat? You treat with the art of medicine. He must feel that, now doctor, you are with me, no? I am sure everything will be all right. What a tremendous faith generated by this art of medicine. And that art of medicine, therefore, includes this empathy. And that is not enough. You need to have a good communication skills and counseling. Communication is just telling the facts. Counseling is telling them what you feel you can help them to get over the problem. Two things are different. And therefore, learn communication and counseling. And then documentation. Today the medicine is becoming legalized. And even the legalized medicine has come in India with us. How do you save yourself from that? Don't worry about Consumer Act. You document everything. The legal process blames you not for your ignorance, but for your negligence. We are all equally ignorant in medicine. But negligence is being punished. And what is the proof in the court of law that you are not negligent? Documentation. So friends, communicate, counsel, document, all that. And this is what really the treating the mind of a sick person. And if you support his mind, then he supports his healing, and you get the credit of having healed him. And if you don't do that, so what is the patient looking at you and me for? He wants a conversation. He wants your touch. Putting a hand on his shoulder to say, don't worry, I have explained you everything, you will be all right. That high touch makes his mind feel, oh, I'm going to be all right. But today we have a high tech. We don't look at the patient. We don't see what he has. We see what the scan shows or what the laboratory shows. How depersonalization we have become. We have no high contact with the patient. We have high tech. He needs high touch. He needs my doctor to talk to me. He needs that my doctor should converse with me, explain me, support me, and that heals. Finally, don't forget, the patients do not want to know how you know. They don't care to know what your degrees are or diplomas are, or whether you got a gold medal. So they don't care to know what you know, but they want to know how much you care. And you have to show that you are caring. And that is the art of medicine. Well, finally, I want you to therefore remind yourself that now you are going to start learning. Who will teach you? Every patient will teach you. And you have to keep your eyes, ears open and thought process open to learn. Me with my colleagues wrote some books, and my colleagues asked, where are we going to dedicate these books to? Normally you dedicate to parents, to teachers, etc. Oh, writing a book is not dedication to your parents or teachers. Following their principles is the dedication to them. What are you writing in that book that dedicated to parents or teachers? Oh, that's a whitewash. So we decided to dedicate to children who suffered so that we could learn. Each child, even if it did not survive, taught me something that next time if you see such a disease, that child should not die, he should survive. He taught me that. Even the dead can teach. Okay. Only provided we understand that there is a learning opportunity. And who will take your exam? Every patient who comes to you every day is taking your exam. He does not give you a certificate. He does not tell you whether you have passed or failed, but he tells everybody in the community whether you have passed or failed. And that is the thing. I hope you understand what I meant, that your learning starts now. Okay? I once again congratulate all of you. And you are at the point where the CPS has been taken to heights. Okay. I also passed DCS. Every time we did MD, we also appeared for DCS. And what was the college doing? Only taking examination, not training. Now you have passed in an era whether you are trained. And I must say, to the credit of the president and the council members, that before the pandemic started, the digital platform was on, and the training for anywhere in the country, wherever you are, was possible from this very hall. The pandemic came, everybody said, we must have now a digital platform. And I must know and tell you that CPS did that, and my academy, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, under the guidance of Dakul Parekh, did the same. Much before pandemic came, they were ready. I wondered whether the scientists did not know, but these two pediatricians of my colleagues knew pandemic was coming, and they were ready for that. What a vision. So friends, you are lucky to have been trained digitally wherever you are sitting. And remember, keep on learning for life. Finally, the aim of every one of us, you be a doctor, a surgeon, or whatever, is being happy in life. And if the patient gets well and comes to you to say, sir, thank you, only because of you my child survived, that is the blessings that you get. You cannot buy it by any other means. Look for that blessing that will make you happy. Finally, friends, success lies in happiness. Success of having large practice, big bungalow, big car is what others see. But the happiness is what you perceive in your mind. Don't go after happiness, let happiness come after you. And I think if you do that, you will be mentally and physically happy, you will be happy in your family, and that will help you to die young as late as possible. Thank you very much.